Every day, someone will come to the cat, usually like a fairy tale character or just, you know, like a pirate or a penguin.
Oh, come on, Small. We've got a customer. I'm on my way.
They never talk to the customer. We never see the customer. They just hide in the kitchen looking through a keyhole at them.
Wow, that's a surprise. Give us some clues. See if you can guess who it is too.
They do tend to give a meal to the person, which would be the most obvious thing. Although when the penguin was in, Big Cook suggested fish, and Little Cook went, no, he eats fish all the time, let's make him something different. Which actually is the one time when it's wrong, because penguins, if you feed them different things, they'll probably die. They send out the dish when it's ready, and then usually there comes back with a note and a gift. The Queen of Hearts gave Little Cook a tiny crown, and that was her payment for 6 jam tarts.
Brilliant!
That cafe is going to go out of business quite quickly unless there's something, you know, there may be something else going on the side. I think that could be a front for some criminal operation. What I really like about it is that the Big Cook is really rubbish. He kind of overacts everything. When he dances around, it's really over the top, and they always kind of hang on him a bit too long.
It looks like Denise the dentist enjoyed her melon smile with toothpaste dip.
It's kind of just hypnotically impossible to stop watching it, and yet when I was watching it every day, it was sending me slowly mad.
Ingredients well put away, ready for use another day. Pots and pans will start to smell if we don't wash them really well. And now it's clear, let's all smile, we'll be finished in a little while.
I wish I'd written it, because, you know, it's literally just format, copy and paste, and then just change about 2 words in it, cross out Percy the Penguin, write in, you know, Franco the footballer, cross out fish, write in football. Job done.
At number 6, shut up and start shitting.
Oh, it stinks!
Thanks for that.
What's happening, darling?
It's all gone, it's all gone.
What's all gone?
Your dignity? In the first take, of course, he just smeared that drawing on a bit of bog roll with his own shit.
At number 5, a big hairy who does everything his sat-nav tells him to.
Take the next right.
This one's in here just because he pulls some of the smuggest facial expressions in history.
Now, enjoy.
I'm driving my car. Fucking prick.
At number 4, is Davina's mum in the room or in her head?
Look, Mum, this colour's perfect.
Oh, it is very you.
You know, the last time I heard someone talking to their mother like that, it was Norman Bates.
Your dress?
What's that, Mother?
Will it do my bit of grey?
Go on, do her mother's bit of grey. There.
What are you wearing tonight?
A lot of people say they want a career in TV, but how's that likely to pan out? Well, the chances are it might look something like this.
Oh, look, it's you, a fresh-faced, nigh-on-fetal 21-year-old finishing your media studies degree with an earnest 15-minute documentary about a local homeless man called Billy. It's well received by your fellow students. You pass your exams, receive a diploma in mediated enablism, send your CV to 10 million different companies, and finally get a reply from a production company offering you a job as a runner. Hey, it's the bottom rung, but it's a start. Your dreams of making a difference with your work seem to be coming true, and you arrive in London with a head full of stardust and immediately email all your old friends and crow about your glamorous new telly career. As a runner, your job largely consists of dogs bodying around at the behest of producers, performing whatever tasks they see fit at a moment's notice. Your wages aren't great, so to make ends meet, you spend most of your nights on the bathroom floor of some cramped shared accommodation way out in Zone Q. But because you live so far away, this means you have to go to bed at 4 and wake up at 5, ready for another day spent waiting hand and foot on the talent, an overpaid gonk earning $20,000 an episode who treats you like half-price shit. He hurls coffee over you day in, day out, and at the end of each evening you wind up desperately wringing out your top for sustenance.
After a year of running, you get your first promotion. Well done, you're now a junior researcher.
Your new job mostly consists of typing things into a search engine and printing them out for the producer, who merely smiles, says they're not quite good enough, and asks one of the proper researchers to do better while you have to help the runner make tea. Said runner, who's supposedly beneath you, turns out to be a backward, feckless cretin who spends most of his time loafing around trying to act like a cooler-than-thou skate. But he's also the MD's son, which means you have to do his work for him while a menopausal producer fawns over his every stupid gesture. Before long, he comes to symbolise everything you despise about our cruel and godless universe. Look at him. Hate him. Hate him. Hate him. Hate him. Meanwhile, there's someone else working on the show you've developed a doomed crush on, which is psychologically unhealthy but pleasantly distracting.
This is simply the first instance in a repeated production cycle in which, devoid of contact from your regular friends and family, you form intensely close bonds with select co-workers. Now you're on a roll and you jump up the career ladder again, becoming a researcher. Cool! On a show where grieving people get gunged in a skewed bid to cheer them up.
Your duties include cajoling them into signing release forms. Dispirited and disgusted with yourself, and your few moments off you simply stare at the wall. You haven't seen your family in a year and your personal life's in tatters. But hey-ho, at least you're working in telly, yeah? Before long, you've become assistant producer, which sounds more impressive, but also means you're doing more work than ever, especially because F***face here is the producer, and he's a lazy, boorish imbecile who spends all his time arsing about and lazily assaulting the runners. But as luck would have it, one of the contestants dies during a gunging. Manslaughter is generally frowned on in telly, so the producer is sacked. And since you're the one with the most experience, you get his job.
Congratulations, you finally made it to producer level, and for a while at least you're loaded.
Once Series 2 of Grievers Get Gunged is over, you're out of work, scouring TV job websites and small ads. You eventually get a job in development and spend 6 months brainstorming a series of grief tormentation formats in which the recently bereaved are poked in the eye, goaded with sticks and so on. Soon you're pitching a despicable show to a commissioner who looks familiar because lo and behold it's nepotist shithead boy. Unfortunately he likes it and the new show, Sick on a Widow, becomes a ratings hit. You end up making 18 consecutive series of it while your dream of making serious programming flies ever further out of reach. Eventually the public tire of cheery abuse of the grieving and you find yourself pushing 40 with a string of broken relationships behind you and no career path stretching out ahead. You approach every production company you can think of begging for a job, but by now in telly terms you're hopelessly over the hill. With no family or lovers to speak of, your sole entertainment is flopping on a sofa bitterly watching programmes, squinting at the names of your more successful co-workers in the credits, which thankfully you can't f***ing read because of credit squeezing.
And that's exactly how TV works.
Now here's a very quick cartoon from the men at fatpie.com.
Psst, we've got an update. Phase 2. Conversation. Association. Integrated. Adverts. What's that, James? Every conversation you have will be monitored, and an appropriate advert will be chosen based on the subject matter. That sounds awfully complicated. It just means after the conversation, use your RCB box to determine your adverts. Don't forget to link arms.
And Service Pack 2 was dragging its sorry ass.
Now let's see.
This conversation was brought to you by Data System Software Specialists.
Throughout the years, TV's provided a good home for doctors. There was Dr. Kildare, Doctor Who, and the Doctors in Doctors. But now times are hard and TV's responded by throwing them out on the street.
Street Doctor is one of the weirdest early evening programmes you're likely to come across, a cheapo bit of schedule filler in which 4 GPs pound the nation's pavements in search of ailments on legs.
In a bid to blow away the stereotype of the Doctor as a bushy-eyebrowed, authoritarian grandfather clock, the GPs are introduced in the manner of a PlayStation beat-em-up.
There's a hunky one, a chummy Robert Winston one, a nonchalant posy one, and a tiny little lazy one.
Her area of interest is women and children.
Presumably because you could mistake her for either. Just to underline how different they are from boring old normal doctors who sit around in offices staring up people's bums.
The street doctors wander around carrying gigantic demeaning signs with Street Doctor written on them, which make them look a bit like foreign exchange students trying to earn a few pennies advertising a golf sale. Each week they visit a different city. For instance, in this edition they're in Manchester, which looks great!
Yeah, Manchester!
Manchester men have the lowest life expectancy in the whole of England.
Ah.
More people in the northwest die from alcohol-related illnesses than anywhere else in the UK.
Ooh.
Heart disease and strokes are the biggest killers in this city.
Yeah, but come on, it's got a shopping centre.
Anyway, then it's down to business, as the docs start bothering locals to see what's wrong with them and prepare to give examinations.
Hello there.
Morning.
Do you need a doctor today?
I could do with one. I'll get time to see one when I have this job.
Can I help you?
Hopefully.
Do you want to sit down there? So, what's the problem?
It's my anus, Doctor. It needs inspecting now.
Sadly, it isn't his anus, but his toe.
You've got what's called a hammer toe.
Well, let's hope she can stop. Hammer toe. Sadly, she can't cure it there and then. In fact, the street doctors seem to spend most of their time simply referring the punters on to somebody else, presumably somebody who doesn't operate in the f***ing street. Meanwhile, across town, Doctors George and Jonty are getting warmed up.
Okay, what's your problem on this nice sunny day in Manchester?
Well,
it's my anus, Doctor, actually. I want you to look at my anus.
Sadly, it's not her anus either, just a few weird ulcers and sores she's developed, which the doctors discuss while examining her like she's an artefact on Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, can you have a look?
Come on, let's have a look.
These are on the small.
Actually, it really is a lot like Antiques Roadshow, right down to the haunting shots of onlookers rubbernecking away in the background. Although most of the time in Street Doctor they look appalled and saddened and disgusted and often downright unwell. And that one's dead. You know, I can't help thinking you could isolate the shots of these passers-by and display them as a kind of art exhibit on the state of the nation. Actually, they've got good reason to look sickened, because the whole thing is gross from beginning to end.
Most of the complaints are skin conditions or minor injuries, but the way they're poured over in close-up, and lest we forget, in the bloody street, is stomach-churning. And just to make things worse, the show's helpfully scheduled at 7:30.
Slap bang in the middle of your tea, which is handy, I suppose, if you're trying to lose weight.
Right then, Norman, I gather you've got a bit of a medical problem.
I have, really. It's my anus, Doctor. I need you to get on your hands and knees, pull my buttocks apart and stare right up my anus right here in the station.
This being a TV show, of course, there are only so many standard-issue plebs the doctors can take, so wherever possible they up the ante by examining the more exotic members of society.
John Ten, one of the Street Doctors.
Hello, hello.
Fucking hell, Amy Winehouse has let herself go.
But star performer David is hiding an unsightly secret under his skirt.
You don't say.
I have a really horrible varicose vein on my leg. I find myself embarrassed.
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, Christ, that's horrible! Having saved Manchester from certain death, the doctors meet up for an awkward stagey chat about the best cases they've seen that day.
I saw a lovely young woman. She was really worried about type 1 diabetes.
James, we bumped into Stephen, didn't we? Who had that massive red eye.
Well, I saw a lovely lady, Mary. The poor lady had dropped a brick on her finger in the garden.
That's nothing. I examined this guy's anus, yeah, in the road, yeah, right outside Sainsbury's, yeah. It was bloody amazing. I suppose the justification for Street Doctor is that it's passing on helpful medical advice in an easy-to-swallow form.
But surely there can't be anyone left in the nation who doesn't know that maybe smoking's bad and maybe eating pies all day is wrong, and yes, we should all exercise and finish our greens and so on.
We know. We all bloody know.
Nevertheless, we have to be told again and again and again like children. And now we're being inspected in the street like cattle.
Anyway, which would you rather do? Die young, smoking, fat and happy, or live to 1,000 in a world where this is acceptable?
Do you just want to pop your trousers down for me?
It's also essential that you warm your hands as well.
Yes, warm hands, warm hands.
At number 3, Orange think you're in kindergarten.
I like getting a little extra time with my friend on the scrap of park or a roadside bend.
I like it when they tell me about people who died, cause their houses burned down and their children fried.
At number 2, a rundown Pretension Street.
I've collected footsteps before dawn. Seen places I never knew existed. Run to the moon and back.
Like this dude's a poet?
I've plugged into a higher purpose. Left this world and come back changed.
No, you haven't. You've just gone for a jog.
I am addicted.
No, you am a dickhead.
And at number 1, everyone knows a cock like face.
Everyone knows a bloke like Mickey.
Generally, they know him as that smug down the road.
To Mickey, hair isn't just hair. It's a weapon to be used to devastating effect.
Bit like a hammer, really.
Of course. He's got a look for every occasion.
There's the fluffy cock, the windswept cock, the cock in glasses, the bell end, and the self-satisfied shithorn.
Wonder what hairstyle he wears when he's jerking off in front of the mirror. That's it for this week. Next time it's a TV news special. And now, since we've already run the credits, I'm just going to dump you straight back onto BBC 4. See ya.